Hey everybody, it's comedian Jen Kober. Welcome to my podcast, Bitchin Over Biscuits, where we take a different genre of podcast every week and deep dive into that topic with our special surprise celebrity guest. This week's surprise celebrity guest is Frank Sheftel. It's a big reveal.
Big reveal.
Big reveal.
Hey, Frank.
Frank happens to be my lovely neighbor, so he is here in my house, and we are recording the podcast here. Mike is coming to us all the way from Lake Charles, Louisiana. How are you, Mike?
Doing great. Wonderful. You two look great together.
Thank you. My lady was fixing the pillows behind us. That was a very important part of the set decoration.
You gotta fluff them just right.
It's not
Okay.
All right, just so you know, the big star of our show, of course, is the biscuits. And because Brooke is here, we have got homemade cheddar garlic cat head biscuits. And we call them cat head because they're the size of a cat's head. And she put some scrambled eggs on them. So.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So delicious.
Yummy.
I'm just going to take a bite, Mike, while you tell us what kind of biscuit you're working with today.
I've got my dad. I had him make biscuits. He makes delicious drop biscuits. Real simple, like 3 ingredients or something. And they're rough. And you get all these little crunchy bits, the little nodules all over it. And I
used to do that with Bisquick when I was in college because all you had to do was add water.
It's
the most perfect biscuit. So you just add water to it, you stir it up, you just plop them, and then they come out like barnacles, though.
Oh, they're beautiful.
They'll kill the roof of your mouth.
How come you have a drink and I don't? Why didn't I get a drink?
I'll get you a drink, Frank.
Jeez.
Babe, can you get Frank something to drink? You want a little apple juice?
I would love some apple juice.
Apple juice.
She knows me so well.
Well, today's genre of podcast that we're talking about, which is so apropos now that we have Frank here. Today's topic is food.
I love food.
We are bitching over biscuits with food. Look, there's your little apple juice.
And my little apple juice. It's not a urine sample.
Looks like a sample.
Yep.
Looks like a specimen.
And because, I am Foodie Frank. You can find me on Facebook. Look for Foodie Frank.
Really?
That's me. Yes.
See, I didn't fuck around
I
this
didn't
week.
think he was actually going to do it.
I got real.
You went.
Yeah.
I'm there. Foodie Frank. Yes.
Frank used to run a candy factory. Like he was a candy maker. He's been a candy maker his whole life. His whole family was candy. He comes from a line. This is my Willy Wonka.
Candy maker to the stars.
Candy.
That's so true. So here's what's funny about Frank. This is my favorite little claim to fame about him. Remember when it came out that Tom Brady was maybe deflating the footballs for the So Frank made chocolate footballs that were kind of deflated, and he sold the shit out of them.
Yes, I did. I made the news. It was a slow news week.
Isn't that hilarious?
That is funny.
Yeah.
So Frank is doing all of the things with all of the chocolates. He's been a candy maker for years and years, and so I thought, who better to bitch about food with us than Frank?
And before we get into the food, I brought something because I wanted your opinion on this. This was a little present that I got. And I always think, that somebody maybe got me, like, this could have been a tin of mints or candy, or I love chocolate. So I don't mind if people give me gifts for chocolate. That's not a problem. They gave me this, and it has this little note on it. Can you read that, or is it too small?
It says, Frank, this is a very special gift that you can never see. The reason it's so special is it's just for you from me. Whenever you are lonely or even feeling blue, you have to hold this gift and know I think of you. You never can unwrap it. Please leave the ribbon tied. My eyesight. Hold the box close to your heart. It's filled with love inside. Oh, it's not a present at all. It's just it's like a Sucrets box that they wrapped up and they said there's love inside.
Well, yeah, what the hell is that all about?
That's bullshit. Those suck.
Thank you. Is that bullshit or is that cute?
That's like a coupon for free hugs or something.
Bullshit. What do you
think?
think?
Bullshit.
Look, I think it's bullshit, but here's what I would do. I would put that on like a little Whitman sampler. right? You wrap up a little Whitman sampler or chocolate, then it's like, don't unwrap it, don't untie it, but in case of emergency, break for chocolate.
Right.
Like to make it,
put something
even
in
though
there.
it says it's filled with love. What says love more than chocolate?
But then that's torture if you can't open it and there's chocolate inside. That's just,
well, of course you would open
meaner.
it and you would just save the little poem.
But no, this is it. The empty tin. There's nothing in it. It's cute. It's very nicely wrapped. But it's like, I think they got off cheap. I don't know if they had these.
Oh, they got off cheap.
A lot of them. But I just thought this is kind of, and you don't want to say when they give it to you that it's bullshit in their face. You'd say, oh, well, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. Right. I hope they're not watching. But if they are, this is bullshit.
It's time to learn. It's time to actually buy something and put
anyway,
and wrap
I
it.
just had to out them.
It's like when your spouse gives you a coupon booklet for a right? Like, I owe you one massage, one making love session, one dinner. Fuck you. Go buy me a present or give me some fucking cash.
And how do we feel about regifting? Is regifting okay? Is it acceptable?
Look, here's the thing. Sometimes I get really cool shit in these Hollywood gift bags. You know this,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
He's a Hollywood person.
Yes.
Sometimes you get a gift bag that has really cool shit in it. Amazing shit in it. But it's not shit I use. It's girly shit. It's like those like under eye gold
things,
things. Yes. Or like a roller outer for your face or like some kind of hair thing. And I'm like, I'm never going to fucking use this. But it's perfectly great and good. But I don't give it under the... I tell the person, I'm like, look, this was transparency. This was in a gift bag. But I want... You'll totally use it. Here you go. I wouldn't ever, I don't think, give it as like, I bought this for you. Unless it was something perfect.
But gift bags and gifting suites, which is known out here, you go to a lot of gifting suites where they just give you gifts. Right. To me, that's Christmas shopping. That's like pre-Christmas shopping. That's exactly what you're getting. You're going to be, somebody is going to get that eye makeup or that, whatever it is they're giving away. A little sample of vodka.
That's something to bitch about. I've been regifted food. And I always wonder, is this just something? Yes, I had a friend who every year she would get, you remember, those Italian cakes? Panettone.
Kind of in the cardboard box. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I really like them.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
I've never even eaten one.
And so I had a friend who every year would get one from her mother and would re-gift it to me, which I was always like, oh my God, thank you, right? Because free cake. But then I started thinking, how old, like, am I getting what if these...
Was the last year's
When was
cake?
the last, does her mother just have a stockpile of these cakes and I'm just eating old cake? Because that is something I would do.
Okay, I gave a friend of mine, she's Academy Award nominated singer-songwriter Carol Connors. She wrote the theme song, and you have to say that. You're contractually obligated to introduce that. Academy Award nominated singer-songwriter Carol Connors. She co-wrote the theme song from Rocky, made a shit ton of money. Wow. Anyway, for her birthday, I gave her, of course, because I'm the chocolate man, a chocolate record. A chocolate record, then I put Happy Birthday Carol on and gave that to her. Okay, flash forward, I'm going to say a year later, I see a picture that she has posted, okay, that she has re-gifted the gift to who? Carol Channing.
No.
Oh, it's like a gift from a Carol to a Carol.
A Carol to a Carol. To a Carol. Not have given it to anybody else because it said Happy Birthday Carol. She must have kept this knowing that she was going to see Carol Channing. The only other one could have been Carol Burnett. Okay, but it was Carol Channing. Yeah, but can you believe that?
It's the re-gifting of food. I think
ultimate and caught on camera.
I don't agree with that. That's funny though, but I don't do.
It was very funny. When I called her out on it, yes.
Oh,
don't think I didn't.
Last time she's gonna get a chocolate record from you.
That's the last time she got a gift from me.
At all. Frank is very vengeful. I love that about him. Now, here's the thing that I always bitch about with food. And Frank, you can vouch for me on this because we've eaten many a meal together. I can't take it when food is too spicy. I like spice.
Oh, I
like flavor, but I feel like there's a trend now towards like how hot you can, like all this ghost pepper shit. What are you doing? Why are
Oh,
you?
that's bullshit.
Why are you literally using a pepper that like one drop of it kills people?
And
Oh,
because we have a baker in the family, I'm saying in the family because I feel like it's family. Okay.
What talking about, Brooke?
And this is going back a few years ago. I will tell you, I went to an event with I don't mean to name drop. Okay.
You do it. We love it.
With Rip Taylor.
Oh,
Okay. And it was the 50th anniversary of Hollywood Stars. The
Oh,
stars on
I love
Hollywood
that.
Boulevard. So anybody that ever got a star was invited. So you can imagine this is a star-studded event.
yeah.
And they had a display set up from Cupcake Wars. You know, where they have the cupcake, the
Cupcake
Food Channel
Wars.
Cupcake
Yeah.
Wars, where three people vied to do an event, and this person won, and so they had their cupcakes there. They had this huge cup, and so as we left, they literally gave us boxes of cupcakes. So Rip and I walked out with like 2 boxes of cupcakes each, like 24 cupcakes in a box. Okay. The next day, he calls me and he's so upset. I said, "What?" He says, "Those cupcakes." I said, "Yeah." Well, apparently the chocolate cupcakes had hot chili peppers in them. So they were spicy cupcakes. They were hot cupcakes. Who the hell does that?
Yeah, I
Why
don't
are
like
you
that.
going to ruin a perfectly good cupcake with something that is going to burn your mouth off? And he says, "I took them," and he goes, "I did not know this. And I took them to my chiropractor's office and gave it to them. And they called me wanting to know, why did I do that to them?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, you did not know." None of us knew. I didn't even bite into it. I was like, "Oh my God." And then because he said that, I'm like, well, I have to see how bad they are. And I took a bite, and it was hot. It was ridiculous. It was like, it was not even a pleasurable thing. It was like, if you gave it to somebody, they're going to think you're tricking them.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah. You don't put peppers. I don't do sweets with the spicy, the pepper. I don't like that. Not at all.
Look, there is a something called a mole sauce in Mexican cuisine. It's like a chocolate
chicken mole
sauce that's very spicy, and I do enjoy that because it's a little sweet and a little spicy. I have had chocolate with like a bit of chili flavoring in it that I have enjoyed, but for the most part, when you start putting in hot spicy things, now I'm not talking about like Tony Chachereau.
No, ghost pepper shit.
I'm not talking about. I can take a little bit of cayenne in things, but once you start going like ghost peppery or even like there's a place out here called Dave's Hot Chicken, and they spew this hot.
But you can order.
It's too much.
No.
Even the mild. It's got. I can't have to think about what my ass is going to feel like when I eat it.
Well,
that's what I don't like.
They do have the degrees. You can get no spice, not just a below mild. It's no spice. Because when I went to the first time,
at that point, then I'm just eating chicken.
Well, no, I saw the different levels, and I asked the girl behind the counter. I said, "What's below no spice?" And she says, "Raw." I'm like,
chicken tartare.
Yeah,
that's
really.
what that.
I don't like spicy either.
I like spicy. No. It just can't overpower everything. Here's the other trend that I find overpowering. Everybody wants to put prosciutto in everything.
I like prosciutto.
I like prosciutto too, but it's so salty and it's got such a strong flavor that sometimes it overpowers what I'm eating. I want it to like accent or like make it better.
I had it with melon. Prosciutto melon is like the typical appetizer.
See, I can't do that. I can't. You can't put. I don't like cold prosciutto. To me, that's like eating raw bacon.
Okay.
I need my prosciutto to be cooked or to be in stuff.
I like it cooked. I like
realize cooked prosciutto.
Oh yeah, it's like bacon.
Wow.
You can just warm it up. It's like a fried bologna sandwich. Perfect.
Prosciutto cupcake sounds.
See, you could put a little prosciutto like on the top. If you did like put it on like a crumble on the top of a cupcake, I bet I could get down with that. You put the right, like if it was like
bacon,
yeah, like a pancake, here we go. I'm inventing it. A pancake cupcake with like a maple buttercream on it, and you sprinkle some prosciutto. Babe, were you taking notes? Are you writing this down? Oh, she says she's already made them.
What?
Bingo, jackpot! I win. She's mine. Get back. She candies the bacon.
Well,
Oh,
the other thing
Get on it, Brooke.
that aggravates me is do not push your religion on me. Do not push your vegetarianism on me. Okay? I do not want, if you're a vegetarian, good, more power to you. I eat meat. I want to eat meat. I do not want to eat vegetarian food.
I like meat with a side of meat. I mean, that's
what I'm living right
meat,
now.
Wrap it in meat, dunk it in a meat sauce. I'm all about that.
Yes.
I agree with that too. But I have to say, we ordered food the other day from Takaya. Have you had their stuff?
I've not. I've driven by.
So good. It's so good. But here's the thing: it's like organic-y kind of Mexican food. I wanted some queso. I had just had it in my, you get that hankering for queso, and they don't have that everywhere out here. I know in Louisiana,
everywhere.
That's like a Tex-Mex favorite.
Have you been to Don Cuco's in Burbank? They have a very good. Yes.
But we're ordering from Takaya, and they have queso, and I ordered the queso, and I love their chips. Their chips are super crazy crunchy, and like a lot of them are like, how you get some that are like 3 chips all kind of rolled together. Like in a tortilla chip, it's like 3 chips. That's my favorite. And they have a lot of those in their bags of chips. So I love their chips. I get the queso. I'm eating. I'm like, this is the creamiest, amazingest queso. And Brooke goes, it's vegan. I go, what? She goes, yeah, it's vegan queso. I didn't even realize that.
Well, but
it was vegan queso. It was delicious.
But I don't understand why it has to be vegan.
It doesn't have to be. Well, I would have been perfectly happy with real cheese, but it was, and I didn't mind it as much.
Well, no, but I think that cheese is vegan because an animal did not die to make that cheese.
But it comes from an animal. For vegans, it's not about the death of them. They don't want to eat any animal products. I know vegans that won't fucking touch honey because it came from a bee and that's an animal. They won't eat honey. If you are kicking back honey, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, they're communists.
Well, Frank, I've been
the vegans.
Well,
Frank, I've been eating a carnivore diet for the past 31 days. Nothing but meat, meat, cheese, eggs, grass-fed butter.
Wow,
so much meat.
How do you feed butter grass, or is there grass in the butter?
Well, you just kind of gently. It's a subtle thing. You kind of just set the grass next to the butter.
Yes.
The other thing Frank is really good at is putting happy greeneries into chocolate.
Ooh.
Making special chocolates.
It's the only green
chocolates to make your Nana go night-night. Those kind of
Now,
chocolates.
I like that kind of additive over the ghost pepper.
I agree.
Yes, I agree.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Oh, so much better.
That's good. And I love gummies. That's my favorite.
Well,
see, I do not actually like edibles because I don't like what they do to you, as opposed to like, I mean, if you smoke a little bit, you can take 1 or 2 puffs or whatever, and you can kind of control your level of the feeling you're getting. But once you take an edible, you have taken that edible, and there ain't nothing.
You're on the ride.
Buckle up.
That decision has been made.
Buckle up and enjoy the ride if you're going to. And it's just.
I took a gummy the other night. Brooke and I were flying here. We got on the plane in Baton Rouge at 7 p.m. and we weren't getting to Los Angeles until after midnight. So it was really like 2 in the morning. And I just got to sleep on this plane. But sometimes I can't sleep on planes. So I thought, you know what? I had one gummy. I found one gummy in my little stash because, I've been getting rid of my stash.
Right.
I had one gummy left and I thought I'm saving it for this plane ride. I took it on the plane ride and I was dosed. I dosed y'all. I was knocked the fuck out. I wanted to be, Brooke was saying shit to me. The girl was like, water, snack, nothing. I couldn't have answered if I wanted to. There was like drool coming out of me. I was just like, I was so out of it.
You've seen that.
But then when the plane landed, I popped up and I was fine.
I can get that with the Xanax. I'm fine.
I popped up and I was fine. So they just put me to sleep. Anytime I eat it, it just puts me to sleep. So it's helpful if that's why I'm taking it to like go night-night.
Right.
But if I want to get shit done. I have things to do. And sometimes greeneries can be enhancing to that.
Oh, right.
But it
Yeah.
also can be a hindrance. And sometimes it's a slippery slope for me. And so I'm trying not to do it very often.
You never know.
When I need to focus, I don't, nothing, no alcohol, nothing. I like to be sharp.
I have to chew gum. That's what helps me focus, chewing gum. That's scientifically proven that if you chew gum,
it does something with the chemicals in your brain.
Yeah, it helps. It's something.
I don't like losing control. I don't like being so out of it that I don't like being having a trip and then not being able to get out of it. You know, I don't like that tipping point.
Absolutely.
But let me say this. What I do love about the greenery is the foods I have invented while getting the munchies. Let me tell you one of the most delicious things I've ever had. I was so stoned, and all I had in my house was, I was pretty broke at the time, and I found a bagel and like the bottom scrapings of some cream cheese and Doritos. And I took the I toasted the bagel, I put the cream cheese on the bagel, put the Doritos on it, and made me like a Dorito cream cheese sandwich. Fucking delicious. You're welcome. I'm telling you. And
were they flavored Doritos?
They were Cool Ranch Doritos.
Okay. Interesting.
And it was chives cream cheese on an onion bagel. So it was a lot of flavors going on. But I'm telling you, it was delicious.
Well, speaking of delicious, did Brooke try the onions, the Funyuns that I gave you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you like those?
At Trader Joe's, they make a Funyun, but it's made out of like quinoa and lentils.
Which I did not see that part of the label, because I honestly probably would not have bought them if I saw them. But I would not. And so when I saw that, after I opened them up and I tried them, they were delicious. I still hadn't seen it, and you came over and I said, "Oh, you got to try these." And then when she went to try them and then noticed that it was gluten free, and that right away is like, "Oh, I would have never bought them if I knew they were gluten free." But you know, but I like gluten. I
love gluten. I'm a fan of gluten.
And so, but then I noticed it had the lentil and other quinoa, whatever on there. I'm like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" But it's good.
It's like you know how Funyuns are like almost taste like nothing, like they're airy. These are like a denser, crunchier Funyun,
and they're smaller and they're all uniform.
Little
you can put them on your fingers like little rings.
Little rings.
Yes. Yes.
I have to try it.
Good, despite being a gluten-free snack. I also found at the Trader Joe's. And we would love a sponsorship. I also found at the Trader Joe's gluten-free Madeleines. Do you know what Madeleines are? Those little cookies? I did. I got them.
I noticed you were looking at it.
So
why gluten-free? Why does it have to be gluten-free?
Well, it doesn't have to be gluten-free. I am trying to cut gluten out because I have noticed when I don't eat as much gluten, I do not have as much joint pain. Right? I'm just at that age where I'm trying to cut down on the inflammation so that I don't have to take as many pills at night. But maybe Mama wouldn't need a gummy if she'd lay off the fucking bread. So,
but gluten is such a wonderful
I'm not like eating
part
every
of bread.
meal and because there's gluten in shit you don't know there's
right.
gluten. Do you know what I mean? If it's not something that presents as gluten, I'm not really doing the deep dive into it. Now, Brooke will, and she'll be like, "There's gluten in that," and I'm like, "It's okay, it's a trace amount, and I feel like it's all right." But you know, I'm staying away from bread and pasta.
I want somebody that says that they need to have gluten free. I want to be with them, and I want to feed them gluten and watch and see if it's anything that's visual that happens.
Right?
Is it something that
I think it's bullshit?
Do you get out rats? Do you start? What is it?
Do you become the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Exactly. And when anybody ever asks me, if anybody ever says that they're allergic to something, that's my first thing. Well, is this a visual allergy? Will we see actually something?
I want to see proof.
Your mind? Yes.
I think a lot of it's in the mind.
I think so too.
This is not an allergy. This is just me trying to have less inflammation in my body.
And like me choosing to cut out the carbs for a month to cut out the junk.
Look, here's the thing. Cutting out gluten does not cut out carbs. It actually, the stuff that doesn't have gluten in it has more carbs in it because the flour you have to use to get the gluten out has more carbs in it.
Well, then keep the fucking gluten in.
That's, and on some level, on some things I do.
I mean, what would pizza be without gluten?
a lot of the things I have had that are gluten-free before were like off. I used to do a joke. I would say, I don't know what gluten is, but it's what makes cake taste delicious.
Yeah.
Because every cake I've had without gluten in it
I
tasted
agree.
like ass.
I agree. Yes.
Recently, since becoming linked with a baker, right? She makes a lot of gluten-free things because she has a daughter that has celiac. So
Oh,
she can't
okay.
have
Right.
gluten. She really does get very,
Yeah.
very ill. So she's made a lot of gluten-free things that I've enjoyed. I have also been looking for like gluten-free things that are available now in stores. There's a gluten-free English muffin at Trader Joe's that crisps up and tastes better than a regular English muffin.
Really?
And it's gluten-free. There's
Mm.
these little gluten-free madeleines that I very much like. There's some gluten-free pretzel snacks that are also vegan and they're filled with cheese, and I adore them very much too. It's about the thing tasting good.
Yes,
the fact that
exactly.
it's gluten-free or vegan
Yeah,
has to be secondary to me.
Well,
because I'm not working with an allergy. But if I can eat something that is a little bit healthier, has no gluten or has,
yeah. But you
more
can't call
protein
vegan
in it or
cheese
whatever.
cheese. You can't. They
It's
cannot
become-
call that cheese.
No,
That's
It's not
bullshit.
cheese.
No, it's
It's
become ingrained in our mind, no pun intended, that if there is something gluten-free or whatever, that somehow it's taste-free and it's not good.
But there are some very delicious vegan / gluten-free and vegan and gluten-free. Brooke makes a Pop-Tart, a gluten-free, dairy-free, homemade Pop-Tart that is with a frosting on it. It's out of this fucking world. I'm here
Homemade
to tell you, you would
Pop-Tart?
eat it and you would. She made a chocolate cake, gluten-free, dairy-free. You'd never. I'm telling you, you would eat this cake and you would be like, "Give me fucking more." You would never know that it didn't have gluten or dairy in it.
I
Never.
want one of
You
those
would never know.
Pop-Tarts.
She's
They're
a magician.
so good.
She's the magician.
They're so good. And here's the thing. Because I just want it to taste good, as long as she doesn't tell me, right? Like I go in there with no preconceived. If she makes it, it's good. I just know that. If she's made it, it's fucking. I have not tasted one thing she's made that I wasn't like, this is the best fucking version of this I've ever had. And a lot of times, what she's doing is pulling gluten and dairy out of stuff and not telling me, which is the smartest fucking thing. That's what I love about being with a woman. They're fucking smart.
Well, that's like they put broccoli, they put broccoli in a brownie and don't tell you, and it's good. And it's like, well, see, now you got your vegetable.
Yeah. Sweet potato. I had sweet potato. My son makes sweet potato brownies. There's no flour in it at all. It's delicious. You can't taste the potato part.
Brooke is making brownies for us today. This is
for us.
I just well. Sadly, there may be some. We may be able to. I may be able to say, "Do you want to bring it to you at Wednesday's show?" I'm not scared of you.
Oh,
but
yeah.
they're so delicious, and her brownies are like legendary. It's not just a brownie. She does like a turtle cheesecake brownie and like a
they're brookies.
And everything but the kitchen sink brownie. And I mean, she just makes them all these. She does stuff to them. She zhuzhes them up.
I love the zhuzh. That's the best part. The little zhuzh.
Yeah, it's not just a chocolatey brownie.
Yeah, I'm going to a buffet later. I love a buffet.
Oh,
okay. That's like the motto from what is it, MAME? You know, remember that life is like a buffet. Most more sports suckers are starving to death. You know, I just love it because I want to try this. I want to try that. I want to try a little of everything. So I love a buffet.
It has to be a small buffet.
Why small?
Because
if it's too much,
those big giant troughs of like. I don't know. Anytime you have to put a sneeze guard, a piece of plexiglass between me and the food, it loses a little bit.
That's the government stepping in and telling us we have to do that.
But that makes me think.
I don't want people sneezing on my food.
Yes. I like family style dining where we're all sort of sharing from the same. I do like to try a little bit of everything. That's very me. But sometimes a buffet because
growing up, we used to go to a family restaurant. That it was I forget, it was Longfellow's was the name of it. It was Longfellow's, and it was the chocolate cake, the chicken steak and chocolate cake place, and that's all that they had was chicken, steak, and chocolate cake. And well, they had like corn, and then they had mashed potatoes. But that's the only thing you did. There was no menu. You sat down, and they brought you family style a platter of chicken, a platter of steak,
Wow.
and you just shared it. Loved that place.
When Brooke and I went to Zurich, we were in Switzerland, and there's a restaurant across the street from our hotel. And we were like, where can we eat? And the lady was like, well, you know, there's all these restaurants around. We were like, no, you don't understand what's close by, because it was snowing. And we were like frozen to the bone. And the lady was like, oh, this place across the street is nice, but they only have one thing. And we're like, it's fine, whatever it is, right? We didn't know what the one thing was. And it turns out the one thing was steak and fries.
Oh my God.
That's fine.
Fucking amazing. They kept bringing it to you. Steak and fries, steak and fries, steak and fries, all until you were like, I can't fucking do it. Then they go, oh, now we have all these desserts. They've only got one meal and 15 fucking desserts. I was like, this is my kind of place. Yeah. I love Zurich.
Oh, see, when I was in London,
so good.
We'd gone to the theater, and if you and Juliet, if you ever have a chance to see the and Juliet, a reimagining of Romeo and Juliet, great play. Anyway, it's musical. Anyway, so afterwards, it's late at night. It's on a weekend. I think it was a Sunday night, and we couldn't find anything open, or if it was open, there was a lot. I mean, it was crazy to just want to stop somewhere and get a bite to eat. Finally found a place. I went in. I literally, tipped the waitress or the maitre d', the woman, the hostess, $100 bill to say, "Can you please get us in?" And she did. It's amazing what you can do.
Yeah.
And so,
Benjamin Franklin.
But I did not know that it was an Indian restaurant.
Oh.
So it was all like heavily spiced Indian food that you don't necessarily want at 10 o'clock on Sunday night. You know,
or do you? Oh my God!
I love Indian food. Tabbouleh. I could eat tabbouleh anytime. Of course, that's not very spicy.
Curry. How about curry
buttered chicken?
Different ways.
I can do curry. Indian Curry's food. Not too bad for me.
My agent took me out. I was about to leave to get on a flight to go do some gigs in Atlanta. So I was flying LAX to like Salt Lake City, and then Salt Lake City on to Atlanta for some reason. And my agent took me out. Right before I left, he was like, let's go get some food before you leave, or we're celebrating something. I booked something. I don't remember what it was. And we get there. We eat all this Indian food. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. He's like, I'll drop you off at the airport. He drops me off at the airport. I get to Salt Lake City, and this is where the Indian food makes a second appearance in our story. Oh my dear Lord God, my ass burned like curry. I missed my flight. To Atlanta. I had to call the people in Atlanta and be like, I'm not going to be there. I was shitting my brains out in Salt Lake City because my dumb ass ate Indian food before getting on an airplane.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I've never been so embarrassed in my life. I mean, what do you say? I couldn't say. I had to be like truthful. I had to be like, I'm so sorry, but I ate more curry than any human being should eat, and then got on an airplane and unleashed in Salt Lake City. These poor Mormons that have to clean up this airport. I am so sorry.
That was not you on the news on the airplane that made that trail down the
No, that was but it could have come to that. It could have come to that had it happened on the plane. I'll tell you that. It was scary.
Oh, that's
scary.
That's one of my having a coughing fit, uncontrollable coughing, or diarrhea on an airline, on a flight. That's my biggest concern.
You can't cough. You can't.
Nowadays you can't.
Since COVID happened, you cannot cough in public.
You better have
without people.
I carry sucky candies with me so that if I do start coughing, because sometimes I'll just choke on my own spit. I'll just
but nobody wants. You can't explain that away.
I agree.
Back last Christmas, we went to New York. Kim and I did, and leading up 3 days before our flight, I started getting that little tickle, and I was like, I am healthy and I am fine. It's not coming. I am, manifesting health, and it just got worse. And the night before our flight, I had to go to urgent care because it was just uncontrollable coughing and chills. And I went, and the nurse and the doctor both said, we're going to have to test you. And I said, look, you can test me, but I'm getting on that fucking flight tomorrow. So you need to give me whatever you got to give me to calm this shit down. And it wasn't the flu or strep or the C word. It was just, a cold or something. But the coughing was so bad. And they gave me some cough medicine that is impossible to buy now. It's always out of stock. I took it right before we left Lake Charles to get on the plane. I took a dose. Not one peep of coughing the entire flight all the way to Newark all day long.
Because you were probably passed out. It had codeine in it, didn't it?
No codeine. It's some medicine I've never heard of, but it zapped it out completely because nobody's going to believe me if I'm on a flight coughing like that. Oh, it's just a cold. They don't care.
Yeah.
Well, please, you know that people go out in public and go on the plane and everything, even though they have tested positive for COVID.
Oh,
that's
sure.
just the nature of the beast.
Yep.
But, I also will say, because I got in a big fight with one of my friends about this, she got COVID and went to work. And she was like, I cannot not make money. I realize I'm sick, but I'm going to wear my mask. I'm going to keep washing my hands and doing whatever. But I have to make money. I have to.
What was your job?
Go to
food preparation.
A food server.
Oh God!
I'm sorry to say that, but that's what I'm saying. That's another reason that during all of that, I stayed in my house. I did not go anywhere. I stayed inside for 2 years. I did not get that thing until I went with a bunch of lesbians to Portugal, and those lesbians gave it to me, and it was.
That's right.
It was a hard day for Jen Cobra because I got the COVID in Portugal. I got stuck in Portugal. I just stayed there for 10 days. I didn't have any symptoms. Nothing. I was perfectly fine. But I had to stay in Portugal until I tested negative. And y'all, none of the food in Portugal was delicious. They were lovely people. It was a beautiful place. But they put something in their food. There was some, I think it was like anise. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like fennel. Like there was some.
Yeah, I like that flavor.
Yeah, there was something in everything, in every kind of sausage, every kind of meat, everything they made. No matter where I got it from, I tasted that in it, and I could not eat anything. So the only thing I was living on the whole time I was there was scrambled eggs, which got runnier every day, that the hotel made because we had to get room service every day because nobody could leave the room because we all tested positive. This hotel was like a COVID hospital. People that had tested positive and got stuck in the country. It was awful. It was the worst. It was the worst 10 days of my life.
Yeah.
In the best place.
To be stuck though, because internet was probably an issue. Getting, you have technology wise. I'm not judging the Portuguese, but I know
it was a lot. The internet was spotty. It's not even. I can't. Who's going to go to the drugstore for me and get me some NyQuil?
Right. You can't call your mom.
And, I was very lucky that some of the lesbians started a WhatsApp group, and one of them had a friend on the outside. Her partner didn't test positive, so she was on the outside, like bringing shit in. It was like the black market. It was like the lesbian black market of. Like it was so hysterical. This poor woman was like a ninja because she wasn't even supposed to be in the hotel without having tested positive. Like because they were so trying to keep, the positive.
Keep it
from it was
quarantine.
Well, it was very dystopian. It was a hard 10 days, and the only thing I couldn't watch anything on TV because it was all in Portuguese. Right. Even when I found Catfish, that MTV show Catfish, I found it.
That was in Portuguese.
I was so excited. They had dubbed the shit into Portuguese. I had to read it in English. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? It was terrible. And the only show I had on my phone, downloaded on my phone, watch how I bring this back around, Frank. The only fucking show I had downloaded on my phone was a show called Bad Vegan. This woman, remember, she opened up a raw foods restaurant. She was a vegan, and it turns out she ended up extorting all this money and whatever. But she was a vegan, and I think the reason she was called to all the evil and so easily fell for all the shenanigans was because she didn't have any meat in her fucking
Right.
system.
She needs that protein.
Well, what about if you had the bad vegan that actually put meat in the food and didn't tell you?
Oh, that's like evil vegan.
That's a good vegan. That's my kind of vegan.
Well, we've brought it all back around, folks. We thank you for joining us on another episode of Bitchin' Over Biscuits. Frank, thank you so much.
Yeah, Frank.
This was so much fun. We got to name drop some fun celebrities. We talked about all sorts of food. Bitchin' Over Biscuits is available anywhere you get your podcasts. Make sure you join us on the Instagram at the BOB Podcast, or check us out on the interwebs, thebobpod.com. You can follow Frank at Foodie Frank.
Foodie Frank on Facebook.
Foodie Frank on the Facebook.
That's a lot of apps.
Find out all of the things there. Join us next week for another episode of Bitchin' Over Biscuits. My name is Jen Kober. This is Frank Sheftel. That's Mike Brignac. And we are out.